from 100 to 1. So I'm going to go from like number 100 down to number 1, starting with Lawrence of Arabia. Now, you just said Lawrence of Arabia is absolutely perfect. I think so, yeah. I think I'm going to put Lawrence of Arabia straight into GOATed. Yeah, I think it has to be. This is what, like, Dune 2, you know, is to most people. It is incredible. I think it more than deserves to be on here. Right, so the way I'm doing this is, like, GOATed is, like, movies that I really, really, really love. Deserves to be here are movies that I like, that I think should be here, but I wouldn't, like, rush to put them on my top 100 or anything like that. But Lawrence of Arabia, I mean, it is like a no-brainer. Ikaru, again, this is like definitely, you haven't seen Dune or Dune 2? That's crazy. You should. And yeah, you should watch Ikaru. Ikaru is really good. It's not my favorite Kurosawa though. Actually, yeah, no, there is another one. There's Seven Samurai. Yeah, Ikaru is like one of those that, like, I do really need to rewatch. I enjoyed it the first time I saw it, and I do think it deserves to be here. Deserves to be here, but it wouldn't be my pick. Reservoir Dogs, famously my favorite Tarantino movie. I'm a bit of a Tarantino hater around here, but I really do like Reservoir Dogs. I like it a lot. Would I have Reservoir Dogs in the top 100? Absolutely not. Do I think it deserves to be in the top 100? No. I think it's a good movie. I don't think Tarantino has a single movie that deserves to be in the top 100. Top 250, possibly. Possibly. But I don't think he has a single movie that deserves to be in the best 100 movies ever made. Oppenheimer's a weird one. I love Oppenheimer. I really do. I don't know where that ranked for me last year. Oppenheimer was my second favourite movie of last year. I loved it a lot. However, I don't think any movie that was made within, like, a span of the last 3 years should even be up for conversation in the top 100 movies of all time. Not enough time has passed. Do you know what I mean? So, although I think in time, Oppenheimer could absolutely touch a top 250, could even touch a top 100. I don't think enough time has passed. I think it would be absolutely unfair. Yeah, I'd say 5 years is a good like place to put that. So I'm gonna put it in good movie. I do like it significantly more than Reservoir Dogs, I think, but a film that's had, like, more than enough time though is 2001: A Space Odyssey. I think it deserves to be here. Again, it's not my favourite Kubrick film. I don't think it's top 3 even, but it is undeniably a classic. It's undeniably one of the greatest movies ever made, you know, pretty unanimously. People love this movie. We don't talk about Barry Lyndon on this channel. We don't talk about Barry Lyndon around these parts, okay? We have The Hunt. It's good. It's a good movie. But, like, I feel like if we're talking the Mads Mikkelsen kind of space, Another Round deserves to be here way more than The Hunt. Although The Hunt is good, like, you should watch it. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. So, I think this movie's fine. It has some really, really good moments. It does. It has some fantastic moments. Some of the lighting in this movie is cold and emotional and gorgeous. Truly, like, some of the best stuff I've seen in terms of, like, psychological cinematography. I think it really nails it. But I never want to watch this movie, like, ever. I have seen it twice. First time, watched it obviously out of interest. Second time, I was watching it with someone who really liked it. But, like, I'm probably never going to see this movie again. Return of the Jedi. I just recently did a Star Wars marathon. I think I'm gonna stick it in here because I mean, I give it like 4 stars. It's an 8 out of 10. Like, I do still really like this movie. It has some of the best stuff in Star Wars, not just the original trilogy, but just Star Wars in general. I mean, the whole third act in the Emperor's throne room, all the stuff with Luke and Vader is incredible. Anakin's redemption is great. I love the opening, even though it kind of makes 0 sense. Like, I don't understand Luke's plan in the slightest, but it still works very well. I know it's cliche, but I hate the Ewoks, which is funny actually, because I didn't mind them for a very long time. But I think I grew up Like, I don't enjoy seeing the Ewoks. They bug me, and they take up so much of the movie. Yeah, absolutely. Luke is the best Luke is in the original trilogy in this. Absolutely. Also, best outfits. Toy Story 3 is fine. Why is... No. Why is this here? It's the third best Toy Story movie. Yeah, why is it? I don't get it. Like, it's great, I guess, maybe. Why is this here in the top 100 movies ever made? That is insane. Higher than Citizen Kane. You should look at the rest of the 250. There's just no way. There's no way. Toy Story 3 is better than Citizen Kane, Vertigo, Scarface, Double Indemnity, Full Metal Jacket, Heat. Come on. Come on. This is so silly. That is so silly. This is a difficult movie to talk about. Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. It's such a difficult movie to see. It is absolutely miserable. It creates a vibe I have never felt in any other movie. It is so specific. I do think it deserves to be here. When I say, like, I don't ever want to watch Eternal Sunshine ever again, that's because, like, it just doesn't appeal to me, and it's, you know, it's whatever. I don't want to watch this movie ever again because of how well it executes what it is. You know, it's supposed to be super difficult. Anyone whose favorite movie is Requiem for a Dream freaks me out a little bit, because what do you mean? An absolutely harrowing time. So yeah, no, a big pass. Come and see. Haven't watched it. Don't ever want to watch it. This face, can't stand it. Can't stand it. Annoys me. I will never watch this movie off the strength of that boy's face. I don't care if this is like #1 on the Letterboxd top 250 narrative. I can't. I think Capernaum is one of those movies where, like, it gets a lot of its praise because it is a foreign movie, and I think if it wasn't a foreign movie and it was an American movie, English movie or whatever, it would not have the prestigiousness behind it. Singing in the Rain is fine. I don't get it. Like, Gene Kelly is absolutely smashing it in this movie. I understand why Gene Kelly is who he is. And Debbie Reynolds is super, super charming in this movie. The musical numbers are very timeless. Of course they are. The dancing is very impressive. I just don't care about it. I just don't care about this movie. I think I'm miserable. I think that's what it is. There's a certain, like, there's a certain bounce to this movie, a certain joy, optimism that this movie has that just kind of makes me feel sick. 3 Idiots. I don't like this movie. It's just not for me. It just really is not for me. It should not be in the top 100 movies of all time. Once Upon a Time in America. The longest movie ever made. But I think it deserves to be here. I wouldn't argue against this. When I see it in the top 100, I don't think it's off. High and Low. I haven't seen. I really should. I know. I haven't seen Your Name either, but anime is like a big blind spot for me. Anything outside like Studio Ghibli, I'm going to have struggled to have seen. Joker, get out of here. Why is this here? Who's putting Joker in the top 100 movies of all time? Bearing in mind, this movie, I've said this a million times, this movie is a complete rip-off of Taxi Driver and The King of Comedy, and it's worse in every conceivable way, and yet it somehow has managed to be above both of those movies on the IMDb top 250. That is insanity. Get it out of here. Why do people like this movie so much? I don't understand. I don't get it. Like... God, I hate this movie so much. Oh, God. Princess Mononoke is goated. Good Will Hunting. Good Will Hunting is goated. This movie was my first ever favourite movie, if that makes sense. Before I was ever really into film, I really loved this movie. This was one of the movies that got me into film, you know, as a medium, as an art. And I still really love it. I don't love it as much as I did, you know, because I've seen a lot more, and a lot more is overtaken it. But there is still such a charm and a magic here. The story, the narrative and all that stuff is fine. The cinematography and the camera work is fine. There's nothing extra special going on technically, but the performances, Robin Williams, Stellan Skarsgård, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, even Casey Affleck, like everyone, Minnie Driver, everyone is just giving it in this movie. Braveheart. Why is this here? Why is Braveheart? Why is the Mel Gibson does a really bad accent movie here? This is ridiculous. I've got nothing to say about Braveheart. No one's got anything to say about Braveheart. Zach from the They Live By podcast is probably upset because I have a feeling he really loves this movie, but like, it's Braveheart. Avengers Endgame. This is going to be controversial. I think it does deserve to be here. No, right, so is Endgame in and of itself a better movie than Oppenheimer, Reservoir Dogs, The Hunt, Return of the Jedi, Capernaum, Eternal Sunshine, Singing? No, it is not. By all accounts, it is a much worse movie. However, I think it deserves to be here strictly for what it is. It was a moment in not just superhero movies, in film. It was an event. I feel like when you tell the story of film from, its inception to now, Endgame is a staple of that story. It's a very important chapter. Though I have dogged on superhero movies a million times on this channel, I think for what it represents and for its time and what it was, I think it deserves to be here. Das Boot. Not seen. War movie. Don't care. Maybe I'll watch it one day to just complete the IMDb top 250, because I'm only a couple movies off. No, Toy Story is goated. I love Toy Story. I love Toy Story 2 more, but I quote it a lot in my real life. It is probably the funniest Pixar movie. Also, I just want to say, the animation holds up. Certain aspects of it don't. Like Bo Peep's sheep look terrible. Andy looks terrible. Sid is the most terrifying thing, although that does work for the movie. I think in general, it holds up pretty well. I loved it as a kid, and I think if you showed a kid this movie now, they would still love it. I think it holds up incredibly well. Way better than Toy Story 3. The animation might have got really polished by this point, but the original Toy Story just has a charm to it that this movie could never capture. It's the first fully 3D animated feature-length film, so the fact that it's as good as it is also a miracle. Amadeus. Amadeus is great. Deserves to be here. Old Boy deserves to be here. Old Boy deserves to be here. It's always on these lists. People really love this movie, and I think it's solid. Park Chan-wook got so much better than this. Decision to Leave, I think is everything that Park Chan-wook can do, but just on like God mode. Old Boy has this kind of rough and raw energy that he doesn't have anymore, granted. So this is like a pure, unfiltered version of that man, but I don't love it the way everyone else seems to love it. I think that the twist is crazy. It's a good movie. Watch it. I think it deserves to be here. Yes. Get American Beauty out of here. I mean, have you seen, by the way, the Liam Neeson talking about Kevin Spacey lately, saying he was a good guy and a great performer and we need him back, and then Sharon Stone is saying like the same thing. Now, one, no. And two, I've always said, despite Kevin Spacey's personal horrible situations, he's a great performer. He is. And we can't deny that. He is absolutely fantastic on screen. I think he's terrible in this movie. I don't get it. I don't understand why this is on so many like top lists. It's so faux intelligent. It's like a deep movie for people that don't have brains. The whole bag oh god. So I don't get the appeal of American Beauty. I don't know why people love it as much as they do. It's just kind of fake deepness. I must be crazy. Coco. Coco's a good movie. I like Coco. It's a very fun movie. It's very beautiful. I love the music in Coco. I love the animation. It came at a time where I thought Pixar, were kind of faltering, and they didn't feel like they could still create those classics that they did. This came in to prove all that wrong. It killed all doubt, and I'm in love with Coco. I do really like this movie. That being said, it should not be in the top 100. It should be nowhere near the top 100. It shouldn't be in the top 250. I like it more than Toy Story 3. But yeah, it shouldn't be in the top 100 movies ever made. That's ridiculous. But it's a good movie. The Dark Knight Rises. Why is this here? Who is putting this here? What is that about? The Dark Knight Rises is super confusing. Nolan had come through. He changed the superhero genre, and he did, right? And Batman Begins is my favorite of the Nolan trilogy. That's a whole different topic, and people disagree there, but I love Batman Begins. And then The Dark Knight comes out, and Dark Knight is great as well. I think it's a great movie, with one of the best performances in a comic book movie ever, with Heath Ledger. May he rest in peace. And then Dark Knight Rises comes out, and it is the most dull and uninspired and lazy and ugly movies Nolan has ever done. I don't ever rewatch this movie. I saw it on a rewatch a couple years ago, and that's good enough. I'm done forever. The only thing I even like in this movie is Tom Hardy as Bane, which is probably the worst thing actually about the film, but it is the only thing that makes me feel alive when I'm watching it. It is the dumbest, goofiest voice, and if it were not for those stupid choices, this movie would be like a 3 out of 10. Why is this here? Inglourious Bastards. It's fine. No. People are gonna hate me for that, because people super like Inglourious Bastards, and they think it's Tarantino's best. It's not even top 5. Like we said over here when I was talking about Reservoir Dogs, I'm a bit of a Tarantino hater. You know, I think he makes very polished, very clean films, very well made films. They are just not for me. Whatever. Actually, to be fair, my favorite part of this movie is Christoph Waltz. If this movie was just all Christoph Waltz scenes just stitched together, it'd be goated for sure. But it's not. Doctor Strangelove. It's a good movie. I don't think it does deserve to be here. When considering all the other Kubrick films, I don't see it. I can see this being here. I can see The Shining being here. I can even see Clockwork being here. Eyes Wide Shut I could see being here. But Doctor Strangelove, Aliens. It's a good movie. Doesn't deserve to be here though. As someone who adores James Cameron, as someone who loves the Alien franchise, I love Aliens. I don't think Aliens should be on the top 100 movies ever made though. Top 100 movies ever made. Think about that. Think about 100 movies. The best ones ever made. Do you really think Aliens is cutting it? You can squeeze it in. I can forgive it maybe in the top 250. Charlie Chaplin's The Great Dictator is fine. You think it's his best movie? I mean, okay. The Shining is good. The Shining is goated. Best Kubrick movie. Actually, no. Second best? Best? I don't know. One of them. The Shining is incredible. One of the best movies ever made. I don't care what Stephen King thinks. The Shining's great. I don't need to talk about The Shining. The Shining's great. Witness for the Prosecution, I have not seen. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's goated. Look, hey. Look. No. There? That? Yeah, see? Goated. I've spoke about this before, but like I didn't see it when it came out because I didn't care too much. Because I really loved the Miles Morales comics, and I thought because they were putting him in a story with so much more variety for Spider-Man, you know, putting in like Spider-Man Noir and Peter B. Parker and all that, I just thought that like he was going to be sidelined because they thought like he couldn't carry his own movie or something like that. I don't know. Also with it being animated, I guess I didn't draw to it. And then like a year later, I watched it. And then I watched it 4 times that week afterwards. It is so incredible. It is beautiful. One of the best animated movies I've ever seen. Like, just on a strict animation basis, it's so impressive. The whole 2D, 3D blend that they've got going on. I mean, it's super influential. So many animated movies have come out in this style. You know, with Mitchell's versus the Machines, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, Mutant Mayhem movie. They're all taking this kind of influence from this movie, and I can see why. I really can see why. I love the soundtrack to this movie. It's great. Paths of Glory. It's a good movie. I don't have much to say about Paths of Glory. Avengers: Infinity War, I think, deserves to be here. Like, these two as a couple, for the exact reason I think Avengers Endgame should be here, I think Infinity War should be here. Like, they come as a pair. I do think this is a better movie than Endgame, like, just structurally. I think they both deserve a place for what they did. Sunset Boulevard, I think it deserves to be here. It deserves to be here. I don't like super love this movie. It is something special. It is something special. And I think it does deserve to be here, just because when I was having a quick glance at the top 100, when I was putting this tier list together, I didn't blink twice at this. I just looked at it and it felt right, it felt normal, it felt natural. The Lives of Others, not seen. Oh, Raiders is goated. Is it? So my take on the Indiana Jones series gets people more mad than like anything I ever do ever. I don't like it. I don't know why I don't like it. I should. You know, it's Steven Spielberg and George Lucas collaborating with Harrison Ford on an action adventure story, you know, with Nazis and with like biblical objects and curses. There's like great stunt work and nice cinematography. Like, it should work for me, but it doesn't. I've seen it 4 or 5 times. Every time I finish it, I just go, yeah, it was fine. The Last Crusade, I really like The Last Crusade. I would much rather have The Last Crusade in here. Would much rather. I think if The Last Crusade was here, it'd be in GOAT. Or deserves to be here. Where do we think WALL-E should be? I gotta agree. Why is it here? What happened in 2007? Is 2007? 2009? 10? 8? Whatever. What happened? Why? I don't get the obsession with this movie. I think it has an incredible first 40 minutes. I think the first half of this film is 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Like, if this was a short film and it was just the first, half, no doubt would be here. However, that second half is so incredibly dull, so unfathomably boring. All the human stuff is boring. The twist villain is stupid. I hate the third act. I don't find the comedy all that funny. The first half is great. Second half reeks. 12th fail. Haven't watched. Hadn't even heard of it until I put this together. So, Memento. Memento's good. I think Memento's a good movie. I don't watch it a lot, but I think it is masterfully made. It is incredibly raw, which is fun because Nolan is such like a polished and big director. Everything he does is so ambitious and huge. Yeah, no, Memento is super raw and it's super rugged and a little bit messy, which Nolan, that's like not what Nolan does anymore. And I think it's a good little time capsule for where he was at that time, and I think it has some really good performances and I like it a lot. Your first experience with Memento is a special one, and then from there on out, it becomes less and less. So I think it's a good movie. I don't think it should be in the top 100. Apocalypse Now. It's goated. What are we even talking about? Of course. No, I have a whole video about Apocalypse Now. Like, I think 8 of every film that we've spoke about so far, I think Apocalypse Now is so easily the most placeable movie. Django Unchained. I'm gonna annoy I'm gonna annoy the Tarantino fan base again. Nah, it's a good movie. I like Django. Django's good. I really like it. It's super endearing. Has some of Tarantino's best action sequences. Again, Christoph Waltz is fantastic. Jamie Foxx is fantastic. Leonardo DiCaprio is fantastic. Samuel L. Jackson is fantastic. Everybody is fantastic. Kerry Washington is fantastic. But does it deserve to be in the top 100 movies ever made? Absolutely not. It's a very rewatchable movie. It's very well paced. I love the look of this movie. But I can't put it anywhere above here. I just can't. City Lights, Chaplin. I think City Lights is good. It's good. I like it slightly better than The Great Dictator. The only reason I'm not putting it in here is because there's one movie that deserves it more. Aliens goated. Of course, Aliens goated. Over time, I've come to really love the Alien franchise, and this is just one of the best movies ever made. It's so timeless. The effects, the look. I do hate that one moment though with the xenomorph where he kind of just goes like in the air ducts or whatever with the flamethrower. It's super goofy. Like it's as silly as that franchise gets. Like it's very dumb. But I love how the xenomorph is in this movie. You know, he's like, well, she, I don't know. But the Xenor's very much like a Michael Myers kind of figure, lurking, suspicious. Whereas like as the series moved on, the Xenomorph became a lot more audacious, a lot more big, a lot more in you know, your face. They're always there. But in this movie, the not knowing and the not really seeing, not really understanding what it is what made the Xenomorph such a formidable character to begin with. But the Xenomorph is one of the best creature designs ever. Very phallic, but very, very bold and beautiful. Once Upon a Time in the West, I think it deserves to be here. For what it is, I don't super love it. It's not one of my favorites. I don't rewatch it a lot, but in the same vein as Sunset Boulevard, when I see it in the top 100, doesn't make me look twice. It feels like it belongs here. Rear Window. Goated. The best Hitchcock movie. I love this movie, but also Disturbia. But it was like a 2008 kind of remake of Rear Window with Shia LaBeouf. I did a video on it. I think it's one of the best remakes ever made. It's super good, and it like perfectly encapsulates what a remake should be and why they should be made. Yeah, Rear Window's great. Also, that one meme. This is always in my head when people mention Rear Window. Modern Times. Goated. Do you know what, actually, because I'm putting that in goated, I'll move the other Chaplins. There we go. How's that? Do we feel better about that? Yeah, I love Modern Times. I think it is the best Charlie Chaplin movie. Incredibly funny and weirdly timeless. Cinema Paradiso. I have not seen, but I do want to see. Italian cinema is like something I really, really, really need to invest in. Untouchable, or The Untouchables, or whatever, the French movie. I don't know why it's here. Same thing as I said about Capernaum. This movie, if it were not a foreign movie, would not be in the top 100, I think. And I think that's what happened to this, because the Bryan Cranston and Kevin Hart movie is genuinely just as good. And I know people don't want to say that because Kevin Hart, but like, it's a good movie. It's, you know, it's fine. And the performances are just as good as these two performances, in my opinion. Casablanca obviously deserves to be here. The Usual Suspects. Why is this here? Why is it here? What I think has happened with the Usual Suspects is millennials got a hold of this movie when it first came out. The twist blew everyone's mind at the time. Kaiser Soze was like a big cultural thing, you know, and it just stuck around because of that, of the strength of that cultural impact. But I don't understand the appeal. I don't know why people super love it. You know, the first time I watched it, I finished it and I went, okay, yeah, cool. It was fine. But it is not top 100 material. Harakiri. I think it's good. But that is it. I love this movie. There's something about like when it comes to anime, I think people give like anime more of a pass than they should just because it looks so impressive. You know, that people love the animation of it, so they always think whatever it is, it's super incredible. You know, something like Totoro. Something like Totoro, where people think like it's one of the best movies ever made. And it isn't. It's just a good movie. But because, you know, it's anime and the fan base is so crazy, people go nuts. But I think The Grave of Fireflies... I mean, it's fair enough. I really like how morbid and kind of beautiful this movie is. Another Nolan movie. The Prestige. The Prestige is goated. It was my favourite Nolan movie for a very long time. Until Oppenheimer came out, and I think I've wanted to do a video on The Prestige a million times, but every time I come to do it, I can't do it because I can't really articulate why I love this movie. Zach from the They Live By podcast is probably upset because I have a feeling he really loves this movie, but like, it's Braveheart. I knew. Do you know, when I was talking about Braveheart, I said that you were going to be upset because I had a feeling you would really like this movie. Whiplash. I think it's a good movie. It is simple. It's very simple. And I think the simplicity is what works. Their performances are so intense that I feel like if there was any more narrative complexity to it, like there is in other Chazelle works, it would fall apart. But I think this film is running on a kind of energy that nothing else is really operating on. American History X. Why is this here? Why is this here? It's a good story, you know. I can understand the appeal. Sure. I feel like it handles race relations and this kind of archetype of a person and this story not the best. And I feel like other movies handle it just better. Yeah, no, I get you. It is hyperbolic to an extent. In a way that like doesn't super work though, because that can work. Something like Do the Right Thing, right? The Spike Lee movie. That is super exaggerated too in the ways that like race tensions kind of boil. It works in the vibe of that movie. American History X is trying to create a hostile environment whilst exaggerating it. And I feel like you can't be grounded and exaggerated at the same time. That it's an oxymoron. It doesn't work. And it plays against what you're trying to do. So, yeah, I don't understand why it's here. It's fine. I don't want to talk about it. It's fine. The Departed. It's a good movie. I love Scorsese. I do. No, okay. No, granted, I will give you the whole, you know, curb stomp scene is one of the most impactful scenes. Not just in this movie, but in kind of like racial tension cinema, you know? And if we were judging this movie on that scene alone, it'd be, you know, here. But we're not. Sadly, the rest of the movie happens also. Anyway, yeah, The Departed. People love this movie, which is fair. It's a good movie, but I don't think it deserves to be in the top 100. I don't think it deserves to be in the top 250 either. There's so many better Scorsese movies than The Departed. The Lion King. The Lion King's goated. Yeah, is Raging Bull? Raging Bull's on the top 250. It's not here though. Raging Bull is way better than The Departed. The Last Temptation of Christ is way better than The Departed, I would say. What else? The Irishman is better than The Departed. Silence is way better than The Departed. Yeah, no, sorry, but one of the best Disney movies ever made. Timeless music. Even though I hate Elton John, I think he did a very good job with his soundtrack. Great vocal performances, gorgeous animation, very powerful. There is a reason why every human that was ever touched by this movie in their childhood still really loves it. Gladiator. I hate this poster. This poster is so ugly. Gladiator is better than Braveheart. However, it is not just alright. Gladiator is goated. Gladiator is a perfect movie. It is a 10 out of 10. It is one of the best Ridley Scott movies, which means it's probably at like number 5 or something. I think it has its place in history, its staple. I think Joaquin Phoenix has maybe his second best performance ever in this. And granted, I love a lot of Joaquin Phoenix movies, and I think he has a lot of great performances. And aside from Signs, this probably is his best. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Why is this here? Why is this here? Same conversation we had about Oppenheimer, okay? It's too soon. Way too soon. This came out last year. And don't get me wrong, okay? I did a whole video about how great this movie is, because I think it is. I think it's a great movie. I think it's way better than it has any right to be. I don't think it's as good as us, as other people think it is, but it is still great. But top 100's stupid. It's ridiculous. It's not even like top 50 best animated movies. Psycho. Psycho's goated. Second best Alfred Hitchcock movie. If you've not seen Psycho 2, watch Psycho 2. Psycho 2 is way better than it has any right to be. Vertigo is not in the top 100. It just misses it. It's like 105 or something. Vertigo should be in the top 100. I think Rear Window, Psycho, and Vertigo should all be in the top 100. Yeah, no, Psycho's great. Broke the mold with killing the main actress, you know, in the beginning, you know, kind of rattling the whole movie and never knowing what's going to happen. I think the twist is great. I think Anthony Perkins is solidly quiet in this movie. And again, yeah, watch Psycho 2 if you haven't. Psycho 2 is incredible. Parasite. Parasite's a good movie. It's not the best Bong Joon-ho movie. That title would go to Memories of a Murder. Probably even Mother I would put above Parasite. It's still good. I honestly think this is only here on the basis that it was like the best picture winner or whatever. You know, so people think that like it has to be super great and it has to be, you know, top 100. And it was great that it won best picture. It was a big, like, not glass ceiling because whatever, but it was a good boundary breaking win. And I'm glad that Bong Joon-ho won, but it's just good. I don't think it's anything fantastic. Mickey 17, can we get that released, please? Why does that keep getting delayed? The Pianist. It's fine. It's whatever. I don't even want to talk about it. It's a movie I don't care about in the slightest. Spirited Away, it's a good movie. It's good. It's just a good movie. I watch it, I think it's a good movie, and then I don't think about it again. I think it's so weird that this is like the most popular, the most unanimously loved Ghibli movie. I mean, it is, but like also it's a kids movie. You know, you got to give it like some passes. Like it's meant for children. Back to the Future is fine. No, it does not need to be in the top 100. I don't like top 100 movies ever made. I don't think like, because people hear 100 and they think like it's a fairly sizable number. It's not. Like when you consider like 2,000 movies come out yearly, like we're putting Back to the Future in the top 100. It's crazy. It is like Ghostbusters. Star Wars 1977. It's goated. The best Star Wars movie. It's a perfect movie. No notes. Don't want to talk about it. T2. It's a goated movie. Perfect movie. One of the best ever made. Don't want to talk about it. The Green Mile. It's a good movie. Nothing more. It's super like dad core. Like this is a movie like that's on your like dad's DVD shelf. You know, I mean, to be fair, it's on mine. But it's good. I don't think it deserves to be in the top 100. Life is Beautiful. I have not seen. Dune 2. Why is this here? Can someone explain to me why Dune 2 is here? It just came out. It's a couple months old. Even still, Dune 1 is better. Dune 1 is better than Dune 2. Is what it is. And I liked Dune 2 a lot. But it did just come out. And I think it's super silly to put this movie in the top 100 of all time. Super, super silly. I can't wait for this to die. Because sometimes like a movie comes out and it's such like a cultural phenomenon that like everyone has to exaggerate how good it is. And like you'll notice this like as a pattern, and then a few months later it lowers. Like Everything Everywhere All at Once. You know, when it came out, everyone thought it was like the best movie ever made. And now, no one really talks about it. It's fell drastically low on like the Letterboxd top 250. And I think Dune 2 is going to suffer the same fate. City of God deserves to be here. Saving Private Ryan. It's a good movie. Again, when you like, if you sat at home right now and you thought about the top 100 movies ever made and you listed them all out, is Saving Private Ryan ever crossing your mind even once? How many Steven Spielberg movies are you putting over Saving Private Ryan? Because for me, I'm easily putting over the Jurassic Park and the Fabelmans without even thinking about it. What other things has Steven Spielberg done? I'm putting Schindler's List over this quite easily. I don't think. Yeah. I'm putting Jaws over this. This has no place here, and it has a weird cast, super weird and random cast. Like Vin Diesel's in this movie. Yeah, I would not put E.T. above Saving Private Ryan. I don't get people's obsession with E.T. The Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs is goated. People always talk about Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter in this movie. Rightly so, to be fair, because it is one of the best performances of all time. But let's not pretend Anthony Hopkins' performance is the only good thing about this movie, which people do. Everything about this movie is absolutely stellar. Jodie Foster in this movie is possibly her best performance. I would put this there with like Panic Room. Like she is so very, very good, and I think this movie handles the themes of the book so preciously. Seven Samurai deserves to be here. It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life is goated. Makes me feel fuzzy. James Stewart again, great. Interstellar. Why is this here? Another Nolan film. How many Nolan films have we had? Like, I think Nolan has more entries on this than anyone else. It is Nolan at his most emotional, and I think that's kind of why it doesn't work. Nolan, to me, isn't very good at emotional storytelling, and I don't think Nolan has the delicacy. Delicacy? Yeah, the delicacy for it. I think it's a bit of a mess. It's a bit of a slog to get through. Visually very impressive. And has some very good action sequences, as is normal with Nolan, but I don't think it deserves to be here. I think it's here strictly off the basis of being Nolan. Seven's a good movie. Absolutely should not be here, though. It's not the best David Fincher movie. Like, I can imagine maybe in the 90s this was like a big kind of revelation in the crime genre, I guess, but a lot of these are I'm noticing with the IMDb top 100, a lot of these are like very millennial movies, and I don't think a lot of millennial movies hold up very well. But this does hold up significantly better than other millennial movies like Usual Suspects, American History X, American Beauty, whatever. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I need to rewatch, but I'm going to put it in deserves to be here, because I think it does. Goodfellas. I'm glad Skulls is gone, because Goodfellas is a good movie. That's it. I don't think it deserves to be in the top 100. I don't think it's anywhere near Scorsese's best. It's one of my hot takes. It has been one of my hot takes forever. It's just a good movie. It's fine. The Matrix deserves to be here. It's The Matrix for what it did for like special effects. I think it's a highly stylized vision. It does make it a lot more timeless than I feel it should be. You know, because even though it was made in 99, it has a lot of those like 2000s filmmaking tropes that makes other movies feel very stuck. And The Matrix doesn't have that somehow. I think it skirts by just enough. All right, Abraham. You're right, Harky. No, Raiders is not goated. Raiders is not even the best movie in that franchise. That would be The Last Crusade. If The Last Crusade were in the IMDb top 100, that would be goated, but it is not. What is goated though is Empire Strikes Back. Perfect movie, one of the best movies ever made. No notes. Don't blink an eye. Inception, Nolan again. It's good. Good movie. I don't need to talk about Inception. It's been talked about enough. I'm good. Fight Club. I've spoke about this movie way too much on this channel for how much I do not care for it. It's fine. Shouldn't be here. Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. I'm going to put it in good movie. Now, I say that because... Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. I say that because all three of the Lord of the Rings movies are here. And I don't think more than one of these movies should be in the top 100. I think it's a little unfair. Which is funny when I say this. But also, granted, I would be okay with just having this one in there. So, whatever. But yeah, no, it's an extremely good movie though. Like it's probably the best movie here. I don't put it. I'm gonna skip to these two actually quickly. Return of the King, I think, is also a good movie, because the one that I would put in the top 100 is Fellowship of the Ring, which is goated. Actually, do you know what? If I'm putting them in goated, I'm gonna put them there, just simply because I feel like any one of these three could have that place in top 100. So sure, why not? One of the best trilogies ever made. Forrest Gump. I must be crazy. I hate it. It's aged awfully. I don't understand it. It's politically weird. The ableism allegations, I don't think are 100% valid, but I also don't think they're invalid. I don't like it. Terrible. Get it out of here. The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Not the best Clint Eastwood movie. However, it does deserve to be here. Of course it does. It's The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Pulp Fiction. I must be crazy. I've said it a million times. I'm a bit of a Tarantino hater, but Pulp Fiction, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand why this is the one people have latched onto. Schindler's List. It deserves to be here. It's a very tough watch. It's a very difficult movie to see. It does absolutely deserve to be here. 12 Angry Men. 12 Angry Men is goated. I love this movie so much. It is so incredible. This is how good 12 Angry Men is. My girlfriend doesn't love movies like that, you know. She's much more a TV kind of binge person. She watches a lot of like NCIS and Criminal Minds. You know, she doesn't love a lot of movies, and for that fact, I don't show her a lot of movies. However, I showed her 12 Angry Men, and she loved it. It is so timeless. It is so gripping. It is so captivating. It is exactly how you make a movie in one room. You know, it takes out the maximum potential out of the smallest resources. The Godfather Part 2 is a good movie because The Godfather Part 1 deserves to be there. Godfather Part 2 is a good movie because I think Godfather 1 is the one that deserves to be here the most. I'm not in that camp of people that think Godfather 2 is better than Godfather 1. I think The Godfather 1 is about as perfect as you get with a mob film. I don't personally love it. I don't watch it a lot because I don't super love mob movies. But when I do see it, it has me. So I think it deserves to be here. The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight's a good movie. I think people get wrapped up a lot in Heath Ledger's performance that they kind of forget about the rest of the movie. You know, me and Zach had a little conversation about The Dark Knight not too long ago. I don't know how we got onto the topic, but we were talking about how Dawn for the Planet of the Apes carries over Cobra to War for the Planet of the Apes, and how like that villain plays such a role in a movie that he's not in. You know, his impact on the main character and the themes of that movie carry over. And the Joker doesn't even do that for the movie that he's in. As soon as the Joker is defeated, it's kind of like his existence doesn't have an echo. You know, like it instantly jumps over to Harvey, and then Harvey's character is the echo for the next movie. I think the writing lets it down. I don't think it's nearly as perfect as people think. I just think Heath Ledger was perfect. But this is probably the least interesting Bruce Wayne is. I think the way Gotham looks in this movie is a ridiculous downgrade from Batman Begins. In Batman Begins, it's so grimy and gothic and stylized. You know, it feels like Gotham as soon as you see it, but Gotham in The Dark Knight just kind of just feels like Chicago, whatever. It's a good movie, like I watch it and it's good, but like when Heath Ledger's not on screen, it loses a lot of points. This is why you're subscribed? Are you you a Dark Knight hater? Right. Last movie. The #1 movie of all time according to IMDb and its fan base. The Shawshank Redemption. It's a good movie. Is it the best movie ever made? No. Not even close. Most of these movies are better than Shawshank. Every movie here is better than Shawshank. Every movie here is better than Shawshank. I could name 100 movies better than Shawshank. I don't think it deserves to be on the top 100. It's just, it's a good movie. It's in the same vein as The Green Mile, where like, they're just very dad movies. You find them on your dad's DVD shelf, and you put it in, and you watch it with your dad, and you have a very good time. And then that is it. No, I don't believe people finish Shawshank Redemption and then think, yep, it's the greatest movie of all time. Like, does anyone do that? I don't. If that's true, Zach, that's crazy, because let's be real, The Godfather and The Dark Knight should not be the best movie of all time either. I think if, I don't know, what movies here do I think, if it was like named the best movie of all time, I wouldn't be too upset. I think Apocalypse Now I wouldn't be too upset about. 12 Angry Men I wouldn't be too upset about. Actually, to be fair, I don't think I'd be that upset at The Godfather, being honest. I don't. But on, like, for me, what I think would be the best movies of all time, most of them are not even featured here. So anyway, yeah, this is our tier list. I thank anyone that came in, that watched, that has spoke. Thanks to anyone that is watching this back, because this has breached just under 2 hours. My throat hurts, but I will be doing the Letterboxd list next. I will try to watch as many of them as I can so I can eliminate this tier, but I already know that's not going to happen. So yeah, thank you for being here, and as always, keep watching movies.